Interesting times in politics in the last couple of weeks, Jason. I thought the Hungarian election was quite funny too, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Not as funny as Trumponomics.
No, not as funny. But the dancing health minister was quite good. Did you see him dance?
No.
Yeah, so when Peter Magyar got in,
Yes.
the health minister did this incredible dance, which is just really funky and outrageous.
Okay. Well, isn't that interesting?
Yeah. So it just goes to prove
Hungarians can dance.
some politicians got rhythm.
He's not
But certainly not our friend Mr. Trump.
Oh, no. And maths is not his, arithmetic. It's not even maths, is it? Arithmetic. Let's
Why do
hear.
you say that?
Let's hear from him himself.
I negotiated directly with the drug companies and foreign nations to slash prices on drugs and pharmaceuticals by as much as 400, 500, and even 600%.
And so then Senator Elizabeth Warren tried to point out the Trumponomics arithmetic error to RFK Jr.
Trump RX has reduced prices by as much as 600%. 600%, which I think means companies should be paying you to take their drugs.
To which he then responded in this way.
But I would say this, Senator.
Do you know what it costs?
President Trump has a different way of calculating it.
But Jason,
Yes.
the funniest part of this video in the Oval Office for me was not RFK trying to justify the unjustifiable. It was two other people in the room. I mean, RFK Jr. was just clownish.
Yeah.
Now, reporters asked directly how that's possible. Robert Kennedy, harking back to his argument with Warren, explained it this way.
She was saying it's mathematically impossible to have a drug drop by 600% cost, which he had claimed. And I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise. Well, if it drops from 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings.
Did you have a look in detail at Donald Trump's face?
The orange man, no.
Yes, when he's looking up and he's going, yeah, that's right, that's right.
Is that right?
Really, it's like the little kid that's just been like patted on the head.
Yeah.
From 600 to 100, that's a 600% savings.
That was hilarious because he had no concept that he was wrong. But there was someone in that room right next to RFK Jr. who looked like he was being held hostage because he knew better.
Who's that?
Howard Lutnick.
Oh, I didn't see him. Yeah.
I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise.
So you would think that Howard Lutnick knows his arithmetic.
Just a little bit.
You'd
yeah.
reckon a person who used to run Cantor Fitzgerald and is a billionaire
Yeah.
in his own right and is a stock trader and an economics guy, he knows what's going on, but he can't say anything and it's all in his face. Let's take another look at his face. It's just too good.
I said, well, if the drug was $100 and it raised the price to $600, that would be a 600% rise.
What about Trump and Xi? What do you reckon about their meeting? How did that go?
Well, it's interesting with the, Trump has really inadvertently told Xi we're parity now. We're the two global powers. Now I've come to you and I'm saying all these nice things. We're on the same level. And his comments about Taiwan would never have come before the visit.
That was something else.
That was out of the blue.
Yeah. But I mean, that's to be expected from Donald Trump.
Yeah, doesn't mean he actually knows what he's talking about or it's going to remain that way at all.
No, and I don't think he's even trying to play to a domestic audience. I just think he's that ignorant.
Yeah.
He has no concept.
What do you think China thought of the visit, though? Yeah.
That's what they would have thought of.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. They would have thought, oh, God, it's too good. It's like all manna from heaven.
Yeah.
Just like Putin has thought that at times. It's all manna from heaven.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. When you look at like America, every country occasionally chooses stupid. Australia's done it. UK's done it. Italy's done it. God knows how many times. Israel, oh my God. or any country, everyone chooses stupid.
Yeah.
Typically, after a stupid period, they go, we want some sensibility.
That's true.
So America tried stupid. They had 4 years of it.
And they had it again.
And then they went sensible. And okay, now you can argue about Biden being, suffering from degenerative mental illness, or not illness, but, degenerative mental issues at the age. You expect that. And you can see that in Trump as well. I mean, they're elderly gentlemen, and it's a very, very demanding job. And
It is.
It takes a lot out of people and ages people prematurely. I understand all that. But typically, it's not a one-man band. A government is run by a multitude of people, and normally they're sensible people.
Yeah.
Now, whether you agree with the GOP or the Democratic Party or whatever, under normal circumstances, whether you agree with the president or not, there are people around them, maybe ideologically different, but they're not stupid.
No, they're not. No.
But we've had stupid in America, which wasn't as stupid the first time around. Americans then decided, no, we want sensible. They got an elderly gentleman, but
that election was rigged.
It was, of course. Of course it was.
Avoid the truth here.
Of course it was. But the people around him were clever and sensible people. So it was the team thing. He acted as a president rather than I'm running everything.
Yeah.
So America had stupid. They went to sensible. They said, we prefer stupid. And they went back to stupid. And they got more stupid than they had before.
It's gone much further. But there is a difference when you talk about other countries having stupid. If I look at Hungary with Viktor Orban coming in, when he got elected democratically, there was no sense of what was going to happen. There's a similar tale of Venezuela. There's a similar tale of elsewhere. But with Trump, it was from day one. You knew what you were going to get. There was, yes, he was elected democratically, but you knew this was a real black swan, a real oddball in what was going to happen. Other ones went off after they got elected, but Trump was on it from day one.
Yes.
And I think there's a fundamental difference in world politics.
And he had, after stupid version 1, he had 4 years to think about how to make it more stupid for version 2.
Yeah.
And he succeeded.
Yeah. And getting away with the elections corrupt and all these comments that no one else would get away with.
And there's a lot of those insular American comments. And look, my impression of the vast majority of Americans, whether they're educated and well-travelled or not, is most of them are blinded by the propaganda that they're fed with all their life, that America is exceptional.
Yeah.
That there is nothing that comes close to America. And in 2 cases, that is absolutely true. One is financially, they are the biggest economy in the world and they have the most potent military in the world. That's an indisputable fact.
Absolutely.
But in terms of culture, in terms of gun control, in terms of medical assistance for everyone, in terms of the attitude towards providing medical assistance to everyone, this is a cultural norm that is corrosive for a society.
Yeah.
And you have that, that feeds into the American exceptionalism that anything that's different is inferior as opposed to being different and possibly better. But the vast majority of Americans that I've come across professionally or as a tourist, or even in my business where I have a retail business and there's a lot of American companies around here, a lot of Americans coming in, and my God, they're condescending by and large. And they lecture me on all sorts of stuff. And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But they believe they do, and they believe that we don't. And I find...
Because their view is that the way they do things is superior.
Yes. It's the default.
It's democracy in action.
That's right.
It is the democracy.
That's right. So the American exceptionalism part is we have the best democracy in the world, we have the best beef in the world, we have the best this in the world, the best healthcare in the world. They don't even know that there is something else, and they believe that something else is inferior. And then when they do go travel abroad, they think that the coffee should be just like it is back home, and if it's different, then it's wrong.
Why is trying to order coffee in Europe the hardest thing ever as an American? I was in London and Spain, and when I was in London, I was like, can I have a coffee with cream, no sugar? And the barista was not getting it. He was like, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I was like, like a regular coffee just with cream. We went back and forth trying to figure it out. And she was like, a drip coffee. And I was like, yes, exactly, a drip coffee. And I stepped aside and I watched her make it, and she's doing everything right. Pouring myself a regular drip coffee. And I watched her try to put the cream on. And I was like, what the hell is she grabbing? This lady literally grabs a bottle of whipped cream. She starts to put whipped cream in my drink. I literally screamed, no, 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 no. She was like, what? You said cream. And I was like, no, I meant milk.
Or the food, it's a whole plethora of things, defaultism, exceptionalism, and so forth. And America is so insular that someone telling them it's America first because everyone's been ripping us off, believe it, because they have nothing to measure it against.
It's easiest to actually have propaganda with.
That's right, that's right. And when you try and say, no, that's not the case, we're not the best in the world, that doesn't go down with an ignorant population.
No, it doesn't. Not at all.
So that's why they chose stupid number 2, because it was sounded better than
And
sensible.
maybe stupid number 2 will change the Constitution so it can be stupid number 3.
Hey, this is the other thing that amazes me about American politics is how, again, I've heard we've got the best judicial system in the world. What?
Yeah.
Like, it's so political.
Yeah, it is. Which it should never be.
And
It's independent.
you know when something goes up to the Supreme Court, you've got a pretty good idea of figuring out
what's going to happen.
What's going to happen before it even gets there.
Because you planted most of those people.
Because fairness and the law has got nothing to do with it. It's got politics has everything to do with it.
If I had to predict, I think Supreme Court vote, no matter who President Trump picks, will be divided along party lines.
And
this is how democracies die.
Yeah.
By actually then having a go at your opponents, wanting to actually incite violence, by stacking all the supporting government institutions with your own people and actively doing your own thing. It's quite incredible.
One of the funniest things that I find with American politics is their news networks, how polarised they are. But the funniest part of it is Fox.
Oh, God.
I mean, apart from being just hysterically crazy wrong and partisan,
Fox News Channel is committed
to providing viewers with more factual information
in a balanced, fair presentation. Fox believes viewers should make their own judgments on important issues based on unbiased coverage.
Our motto is, we report,
you decide.
And the bit that I have to admit I get a little bit of selfish delight out of is it's an Australian network and most Americans have no idea.
Yeah, that is odd, isn't it?
And not only is it an Australian network, but it's run from Sydney.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it?
Because the CEO, Lachlan Murdoch, lives in Vaucluse, a suburb of Sydney.
It's down the road.
His kids were educated here. His wife's Australian. His dad's Australian. The whole Murdoch family are Australian. They own the majority of shares that matter, the A shares, not the B shares that the other people own.
Yeah.
They don't have voting rights. They control Fox. It's run from Sydney. Okay, Rupert likes to live in New York, but Lachlan, who's now running the place, lives in Sydney, and it's run from here. So I find
well done, Lachlan.
I find that hilarious. Let's get back to Hungary for a moment, because you have interest in Hungary.
I do, yes. So one of the things I find interesting with this new election coming in, with Peter Magyar coming in and Viktor Orban going out, is the fact that he's got such an overwhelming majority. He can now turn off a lot of the policies that Orban has.
That's right, because he's got like 2/3.
Over 2/3.
Which allows him to
do that. Yeah, which is very unusual.
That is unusual, isn't it?
So whether or not he does that in the short term or the long term, we wait and see. But also now all the deals done with Viktor Orban's friends and family to give them the largest contracts in the country, that has to change. And he's out to do that as well. And now he's far more aligned to the EU. So if you like, Orban was Putin's man.
Yeah.
And oddly enough, Trump's man.
Yeah.
In the craziest sense. And then you had J.D. Vance flying in to help him with the elections. So how many people can you say in power that actually Putin and Trump both like him?
Two things about that. J.D. Vance saying...
Saw the Pope, he died.
Cari fratelli e sorelle.
Helped him, Orban won the election, he lost.
But when he was there and he put his arm around Orban with 5,000 people in the audience.
Vance and Orban held a rally in a packed sports arena.
And then he got Trump on the phone, which didn't work to start with, and he got him on the phone.
I'm sorry, the person you were trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet.
Okay.
And he said, Mr. President, I've got 5,000 people here who probably love you more than they love Viktor Orban.
Mr. President, you are on with about 5,000 Hungarian patriots, and I think they love you even more than they love Viktor Orban.
A lot of Hungarians were watching. A lot of people turned against Orban.
Yeah.
it didn't turn the election, that was going, but it sent a lot more people in that direction.
Does anybody like it when people come from another country and tell you how to vote?
The other thing that was hilarious, if you remember back to Stupid One, at a NATO meeting, one of the first ones that Trump went to, when he's pushing through the crowd, do you remember that one to get to the front? And he's got that, like, and then he smiles when he gets to the front, like, look what I've done. Who was the person that got pushed out the most? It was Orban. It was hilarious.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
That was before he knew who Orban was.
Yeah.
And he's like, pushed him like, Orban's like, whoa. Here's the footage, because it's so funny.
Well, they've got time now to hang out together because Orban's not going back to Parliament, apparently.
No, he was probably going to jail, wasn't he, given enough time.
And Hungary is an interesting one also, because we're going to come on to the UK in a sec, but one of the things to vote for Brexit with the UK was immigration, right? Because they didn't want to follow the EU's lines on allowing far more immigrants to come to the UK. Well, Hungary is in the EU. It doesn't allow many immigrants in. And it breaks the rules. So every day that Hungary has broken those rules, it gets fined €1 million. So it gladly pays €1 million to the EU to not implement the immigration policy on the basis that they keep Hungary as they want it, but also it's cheaper to do that than it is to implement the immigration policy. So it costs billions to do the processing and stuff, and they're just paying €1 million a day. So they're thinking that's a really good thing. I just wish the UK had thought about this as well and said, yeah, we disagree on the following things with Brussels, and we're not going to pay so much money, and we'll pay the fine. Bye. But they didn't, obviously didn't elect for that.
No.
But if you look what's happening in the UK, it's the most turbulent sort of musical chairs going on at the moment, where you've got Sir Keir Starmer, who is elected on one of the largest victories ever post-World War in UK history, with a massive majority. 2 years ago, 2024, he came in, and now they want to have a leadership contest to replace him because he's not moving fast enough and he's not perceived as the leader of the future. And there's a number of other areas in there, but we've seen Wes Streeting resign as the health minister, so now he can contest. We've seen Andy Durham, the Manchester mayor, now want to contest a seat that is where one of the Labour MPs has stepped down. So it's a by-election, so he can actually try and win that to get into Parliament so he can be PM. So absolutely phenomenal, crazy things that are going on in the UK as well. This reminds me of like Australia when we had the global financial crisis. We had a very, very strong economy, but we were playing musical chairs with the prime ministers. We had Kevin 07, then Julia Gillard, and Kevin 07 came back as a later version of Kevin 07. So, and yet our economy was better than most other economies in the world. And it's just a crazy situation. And now Keir Starmer's got this incredible majority, and Labour has this incredible majority in the UK.
There's only one way to describe it. A Labour landslide.
A Labour landslide. It is a Labour landslide.
But they can't seem to rally round to actually make things happen. I mean, you can't get a more effective majority than he's got. It's not possible in UK politics. And you would think, therefore, they would line themselves up to go and make the changes they want, because they have a clear mandate and a majority to do whatever they want. And yet it's not happening.
No, and I mean, but what kind of person wants to go into politics?
Nigel Farage.
The UK is the latest G7 nation and key ally of Canada to see a populist shift in voting. The results from local elections could leave the British Prime Minister on even shakier political ground. Reform UK leader Nigel Farage points to the vote as proof that his party is here to stay.
It can't continue to be a fluke or a protest vote. I would honestly say you're witnessing an historic shift in British politics.
So you've got on this, thank you for bringing that up, you've got the right, everything's moving to the right. So if you look at UK politics, Labour's not as strong as it was, Conservatives not as strong. They've been the two kind of parties that have been most dominant. But they're now less and less electorable because the Labour left has moved to the Reform Party, which is Nigel Farage's, on the basis that they're not seeing the change they want, and Labour wants to move upmarket in terms of not just being the working class trade union type of party, and Farage has collected them. So he's the one who's actually got the card. So come the next election, whenever it is, you'd think Nigel Farage has got a really good chance of getting in. And Nigel Farage is not, and the Reform Party is not too far from where we are in Australia with the
One Nation.
One Nation.
Oh.
Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party is toasting to victory this morning after its candidate in the New South Wales seat of Farah secured a resounding win, knocking off a seat held by the coalition since 1949.
You are not going to be the forgotten people anymore. We are friends. We want our country back.
Why is One Nation here picking up all of a sudden?
I think it's because the coalition is looking weak. And look, you're not going to govern in this country unless you're covering the middle ground.
Yeah. And that's the same in the UK, with the Reform Party taking traditional Labour seats that have been since the seat was created.
So, I mean, I honestly think the One Nation is a flash in the pan, although they've been around for 20 years or more. And the trouble is there's a lot of people who've moved in and out of One Nation. They come into One Nation in the Senate, and then they go, I'm out of here, I'm just going to be an independent. I don't want to listen to what they're doing.
Shall we finish off with our friend Mr. Orange Trump and the situation in Iran? This is an ongoing saga. We don't really know where Trump is going, which side of the bread is being buttered at the moment, because we're on, we're off, a ceasefire, it's not a ceasefire, and yet there's no resolution there at the moment. And the countries are now running out of reserves of oil as well. So we've got that situation. And then we've also got, well, what's going to happen in Russia, Ukraine. Some people have said, why don't you leave the rest of the world, Trump, to deal with the Straits of Hormuz? We'll sort your mess out, and you go and stop the war in the Ukraine, and benefiting both Ukraine and Russia as opposed to Russia. So a lot of people are just had enough of this. And Iran seem to have settled into this seat where we're just beginning. We're just getting started with this because we can influence the Straits anytime we want.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it was folly that was pushed by Netanyahu, and it's absolutely
and how he
crazy.
persuaded Trump to come in on Netanyahu's wish is just incredible.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't quite understand the power that guy has. All right.
I think that's enough for today.